All right, so in the previous video, we saw how to set up a Libsyn account and upload a podcast episode, and we also saw how Libsyn automatically generates an RSS feed for us. In this video, let's look at how it works through SoundCloud, which again is a free social music sharing site that also offers podcast-related options and tools. Now, if you go to soundcloud.com/for/podcasting and scroll down, you'll find a link to a creator guide here that'll walk you through the details of creating and publishing your podcast. But I'll talk you through the broad strokes here. First of all, you'll need to register for a SoundCloud account, and you can do that for free. Now, even if you already have a SoundCloud account, I suggest setting up a separate one just for your podcast. That way you're still free to upload and browse around with your personal account, and you can use your podcast account just for your podcast. So if you need to create an account, just go to soundcloud.com and click the Create Account link. In this case, I already have an account, so I'll click Sign In. Okay, once you're signed in, I'm just going to dismiss this. You'll want to come over to Settings, and then come over to the Content area. And you can see right here that I can already get to my RSS feed. However, I haven't uploaded anything yet, so the feed is going to be empty at the moment. Let's first fill out some of the information here. You'll want to include the required content, like choosing a category for your podcast. I'm going to keep mine set to technology. And you'll also want to specify the language if the right one isn't already selected. If your podcast includes mature language or content, be sure to check the Contains Explicit Content checkbox. Now, the most important thing to do here is to check Include in RSS feed here under Upload Defaults. This means that anything you upload to your account, meaning your podcast episodes, will be included in the RSS feed. Otherwise, your episodes won't show up for your subscribers. Make sure you click Save Changes. Next, click your profile name up top to go to your profile, and then here click the Edit button. So this is where you can add an image that will act as the cover art for your entire podcast. As we saw in the Libsyn.com movie, images for podcasts need to be JPEGs or PNG files, and they need to be at least 1400 by 1400 pixels in size. You want to change your username to the title of your podcast. And the bio section is where you enter the description of your podcast. So this is why I suggest you use a dedicated SoundCloud account for your podcast, because you're customizing all this information to the podcast. Again, make sure you save your changes. And that's the basics of setting up your podcast with SoundCloud. Now it's time to upload an episode. And we do that by clicking the Upload button here at the top of the page. I'll choose a file to upload. And I'll navigate out to the MP3 that we exported from GarageBand earlier. Select that. I'll click Open. And now the file is uploading. Now, while it's doing that, you can start completing the information specific to this episode. For example, it wants me to choose a genre. Now, this isn't music, so I'm going to scroll down here to find the audio section. And here, maybe I'll select learning. You can add any additional tags that you think might be useful to help people find your podcast. You can enter the title of the episode. Currently, it's using the file name, which I don't want in this case. Maybe I'll title this 001 Audio Music, which is what I'm covering in this episode. And be sure to include a description of the episode itself. And lastly, make sure the episode is set to public, otherwise no one will be able to download or listen to it. Then scroll back up to the top and click Permissions. Here you want to make sure that Include in RSS feed is in fact checked. It should be because we set that up under the content settings, but it's good to double check that. That way you can be sure that the episode will actually show up in your RSS feed. Click Save when you're done. And that's it. Now with SoundCloud, you don't get a nice little blog page listing all of your episodes, but if you link people to your actual user page by going to your profile and going to Tracks, if you give them this address, they'll be able to access all of your episodes directly here on SoundCloud. But again, the idea behind a podcast is that it should be subscribable, which is what the RSS feed is for. And we've already seen that we can get to the RSS feed address by going to Settings, to Content, and here I can copy this RSS feed and paste it into the address bar. And there's the actual code of the feed that's been automatically generated for us. And if you look closely, you can see information like here's the title of the podcast. It's not set to explicit. Here's the description of the episode I entered, and so on. And again, we'll look at how to submit RSS feeds to podcast directories next. But there's one last thing I want to mention here, though. If you do decide to go with SoundCloud to publish your podcasts, since we're using GarageBand, when it comes time to export your podcast from here, you can go to the Share menu, and you'll find there's an option here to share directly to SoundCloud. That'll give you a screen where you can log into your account. I'm already logged in here. And then you'll have the ability to send your podcast episode directly to your account. And you can do so by choosing Bounce, so you won't have to first export the MP3 to someplace on your computer. If you do have the file somewhere on your computer, you can choose the File option to search for it and upload it from here too. And then you can fill in the same info we saw on the site, like the title, the visibility, and so on. And then you can click Share to start the upload. Now, after you upload the file from GarageBand, you'll still need to log into your SoundCloud account through your browser and make sure the episode is included in your RSS stream and to upload a photo for it if you want. I'll just cancel that for now. So that's how to use SoundCloud to publish your podcast online. And I think between seeing how this and Libsyn work, you should have a fairly decent idea of how the process should work with most podcast hosting services and the type of information you'll need to include with your audio file in order to properly upload your episode and generate your RSS feed. It's obviously going to vary between different services, but they all ask for and require the same types of information.